Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Talks. Today we have Victor here, and he's an ESTP, and we're going to share examples of extroverted sensing in his life stories. I'd like to start off with talking to you about video games. How do you go about playing video games?
Yeah, so my favorite type of video games, I think they're called MMORPGs. Where you're on a team, like 3 to 5 people on both teams, and you have like abilities and teamwork and everything. And so the way that I kind of go about it, I'm definitely the one that takes the lead in most like fighting situations. I just sort of jump in most of the times without like a plan. Honestly, I kind of struggle planning most of the times, but I just kind of figure it out along the way most of the times. I get frustrated with the other teammates that aren't following me, and they're kind of saying like, "Oh, like, look, you're being an idiot and dying," and I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't be dying if you were like supporting me and like actually doing something instead of like running away." So that's kind of the way that it goes most of the times.
Yeah, with extroverted sensing in video games, it may even show where you want to kind of take the leap and
Mhm.
you'll figure it out as you go. And so you seem quicker to action and plowing the way through. And you might be wondering, why don't other people just do it? They're just sitting there doing nothing. They're thinking and they're stalling.
Yeah, and I almost think like, what's the point of playing the video game then? Kind of like, what are you doing? Just like sitting there and thinking, like, play.
There's an action orientedness even to your game playing. And so that brings us to how you're very physically active. And so you tend to get bored if you're just sitting there and doing nothing and not experiencing anything. And so I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, this definitely makes me think about me much more as a kid and like everything that I was doing. And not just as a kid, through high school, I was doing karate, I was doing swim, I was doing all of these activities, and recess was probably my favorite time of elementary school, like playing handball. I was really freaking competitive when it came to that. um, yeah, I would honestly forget to eat lunch most of the times in elementary school, and I remember feeling a lot more sluggish when it came to middle school when they took away that free time, like, to play, and then I was, like, sitting and I was like, "Everyone's just, like, eating lunch now." Like, it kind of like, it very much changed from elementary school to middle school, and, and I realized sort of that I get a lot of energy from doing things, and, when you go into college and then you see like people are even lazy to like walk to class, it's kind of the social environment changed a lot. And I realized that I wasn't on the same beat as everyone else. Like, I'm working right now to actually go back into like more physical activity because I feel great. Like, um going on a hike for 2.5 hours is just completely natural for me. It's not something like people are like, "Oh my god, how do you walk for so long?" And I'm just like, listen, I have music in my ears, I'm enjoying the sights, and that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're around people who just want to cuddle all day, do nothing, and just sit there, it really makes you just want to let's go out and do stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
I
guessing.
almost like it's very interesting. I kind of get like it almost feels like anxiety in my stomach when it's just like doing nothing. I really feel like a relief from doing things. And actually, it's funny, my best friend, I think he's an ESFJ. He is that kind of person who would rather just like chill and vibe, like with his FE, he's very social and like enjoys the good time, but he's not so active necessarily. Like, we would be smoking weed on the balcony and he would just want to chill, soak up the sun, enjoy some laughs, conversation, and I would already want to like go like play a video game, for example, or go on a walk, do something, eat.
Yeah, with extroverted sensing, you want physical stimulation. So
Mhm.
they're always out and about trying to experience and stimulate the five senses and also immerse themselves in the moment. And it's like, well,
Mhm.
why aren't we doing anything with our time and we're just stagnating? It can make you feel antsy. It's like, oh, I have all this restless energy inside
Mhm.
me. it's all pent up energy, and it starts to build up in this form of, I needed to go and do something with my body.
Yeah, and it's actually so funny, like, when I get sick and it's, like, for 4 or 5 days I have to, like, lay in bed, then I really start to, like, feel that anxiety. I feel that restless energy, and I'm like, I can't just sit and do nothing. I can't lay down," but, and those 5 days are so tough to get through when I'm sick. I'm either, like, watching a movie, playing video games, and funny enough, I'm probably playing piano, and I actually wanted to talk about me playing piano a lot because that does go into that extroverted sensing where, like, when I'm bored or I'm tired, most of the times I will just go and play piano, and that's kind of, it gives me that stimulation, like I'm creating something that's fulfilling a lot of those needs.
Yeah. And so Victor really demonstrates being an extrovert. So Carl Jung defines an extrovert as a person who directs and focuses their energy to the external world. So
Mhm.
even when Victor's tired, he's like, I'm going to go play piano. And so that's what
Yeah.
extroverts do. They seek more stimulation during times where an introvert may have reached their capacity and might want to retreat into their own mind. Of course, I'm oversimplifying it right now, but you can see Victor's propensity towards action in the external world.
So funny, I wanted to mention, I feel like some self-help might be introvert biased, possibly, because they'll like say, take a bath, meditate, blah, blah, blah. And, I've actually tried to do some of those things, and, I end up sitting in the bathtub trying to like figure out to do something. I can't just sit and relax and just like do nothing. I would either have my phone out or my tablet there playing something, so it even goes to the small things like that. I struggle to, like, if I'm having massage, it's hard to sit there for 60 minutes, even though I am getting that physical stimulation, the physical touch and everything. It's like it's not enough, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
Hmm.
Extroverted sensing loves visceral experiences and intensity.
Hmm.
It can also cause them, for at least ESTPs, for some of them to be competitive. And so they enjoy the act of one-upping another person. An example of this is an ESTP. They see this jelly bean game where there are these really bad tasting jelly beans and these really good tasting jelly beans. And someone almost dares them that no one can eat all of these jelly beans. And then they'll take the whole packet and then down all the jelly beans to show that they can do it. And it's like, oh yeah, that's the
Yeah, and I've definitely been a victim of my own one-uppingness and competitiveness. I've done that. When I was playing like poker with friends, this was before we were like drinking and stuff. So like we were doing like lemon juice shots, just straight lemon juice from concentrate actually. So it's like very, very strong, and I would just like make it a point to, like, when I had to do it, like, not to make a face, not to make anything, like I don't know, it just goes into that, kind of like, look, I'm strong, you know.
yeah. We even had Victor's friend send him an Instagram video of something that looks like something he'd do, which I'm like, this is so ESTP. We'll flash it on the screen right now.
Yeah, so when it comes to like somebody kind of like messing around with me, it's kind of like, I really get excited. I really get excited, and even though someone might like see me responding by one-upping them, like maybe going too far most of the times, and they see me as kind of like being angry, whatnot, I'm like really having a good time. I'm like, I'm laughing afterwards. It's for me, it's fun. For me, it's all fun. But I can definitely see where I go too far sometimes with it.
Mm.
Hmm.
The video is of this kid who draws on another person's notebook, and then this other kid draws on his notebook and then throws it out the window. And it's the example
Yeah,
of
ripping out some
ESTP.
pages they're at it too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the improviser SP core drive of making a fast and impressive results through that instant one upping in that moment. So,
Hmm.
all right. And Victor, you're also very good at defending INFPs. Could you go a little bit into that?
Yeah, so it's funny, like, my cousin, he's 3.5 years older than me. He's an INFP, and actually one of my closest friends right now, he's an INFP too. But it still kind of stays the same. I end up being like the defender and protector of them. So even though he was like 3.5 years older than me, and all of his friends were the same age, so they're all older than me, as a kid, they would bully him a lot of the times. And I don't know, I consistently see this kind of like the INFP guy kind of gets hazed. Like in any social situation, they kind of like make fun of them, kind of see how much they take. And me, for one, when I saw that as a kid, I was not having it. I was actually like little Victor was like fighting these older kids, like aggressively. I was not having it. Like that was like disrespect in my eyes. It was someone that I cared about, someone that I loved, and I was not gonna like let them get away with it, for example.
There is that extroverted sensing jumping in right in the moment to
Hmm.
help out someone too. So extroverted sensing, it can also see a way to physically move to help the situation. So that's why there's that stereotype of SE users being good in crisis. Like someone getting bullied is, if you stretch it, it's a crisis because someone's getting hurt and you have to act quickly.
Yeah, like in a crisis, I think very clearly and calmly. It's completely very different from like anyone else that I see, anyone else that I hang out. I actually feel like I think the clearest when like there's this intensity. Like when we were talking about earlier, like if someone's one-upping me, like I'm tearing out the pages and throwing it out, I'm actually like, I'm so hyper focused on this moment and like what it is I want to do that I don't know, like there are no distractions, there's nothing. And it actually it also goes into when I'm actually angry or I feel that someone's like disrespected me or something, I'm able to speak very clearly too, and it kind of like when I'm speaking clearly, when I'm thinking clearly, then it's going to be like some hard hitting facts and things that you're doing wrong. And yeah, teachers have like been the victims of that sometimes by me. I don't care about like the authority, like when it comes to that.
Yeah, which is totally cool. I mean, pave your own path, Victor. You know what's
Mhm.
good. So yeah, he doesn't have a level head when he's put into very intense scenarios. So
Mhm.
you even mentioned how being put in the moment actually puts you into a hyper focus. For someone who leads with extroverted sensing, it's almost like because there is now a time pressure, you can now converge all your energy to be directed in that form. So
Mhm.
it tests your ability to react in the moment, and there's something very satisfying about that. And so Victor identifies as a 783 in tri-type terms. It's an Enneagram type that you'll see ESTPs often being. There are a lot of ESTPs that are oftentimes an Enneagram combination of 7, 8, and 3. And the reason why I bring up Enneagram is that it bleeds into some of his extroverted sensing answers here too. So yeah, thank you so much for taking your time to share about how it's like to be you and how you experience extroverted sensing in your day-to-day life. And so I'm going to be creating a series where it's going to be quicker, shorter videos illustrating the functions through anecdotes to break it down and make it simpler for a newcomer to understand. And so if you like this video, feel free to like, subscribe, share. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.